into the Gramlich and McLean podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Our ACC Prospect Series continues on here on the show. We just had Donovan Ezeraku on from Boston College. He was fantastic. Might sneak in the late first round, Mac. That's going to be really interesting. A guy that I feel like no matter where he goes, and we're seeing some third round right now, kind of that area, I think he is going to succeed. Like, I just feel, I don't know how he couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's Xavier Restrepo from Miami, who holds all them records down there in South Beach from South Florida, was just a 3-star recruit coming out of high school and then absolutely blew everybody away. I think this is his third appearance on the pod, Mac. I mean, he's rising up the ranks in terms of athletes, student athletes who have appeared on the podcast. I think EJ Manuel might take the cake overall.
Yeah.
But we love this guy. He's so good.
He is so good. And I can't wait to watch and see where he ends up. And you know, you kind of alluded to the records and what he's done. I mean, a very consistent guy his entire career. And, you know, he talks about here in a second about how he kind of broke through and was about to, you know, be on the, you know, brink of stardom. Then he breaks his foot or has an injury and, you know, has to be set back a little bit more. But he's just been steady Eddie and a guy that, you know, is the go-to no matter who the quarterback is. No matter what the situation is, find 7. Find Xavier Restrepo and just let him do work. And, you know, I think what's so fascinating about this guy, you know, in particular is, you know, people want to knock the size. And again, it is what it is. People are going to find stuff. But he's going to be ready now. Like, he can start at any offense from a understanding standpoint, from a grasping your offense standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint. Right now. Now, is he one of the best 3 receivers on your team? I don't know. Depends where he goes, but he could be. And I think a lot of the places, yes, will be the answer, you know, to that. So whether he goes in the 3rd round, earlier, later, just understand whoever takes him, this guy is going to be playing right now. This isn't a developmental project. This isn't, you know, anything of that nature. This is an instant impact type of guy. And I love that. And his build, I mean, he's durable as all get out. 5'10", 209 at the NFL Combine. And that, funny enough, I kind of mentioned this.
Yeah.
I think he was a little pissed about it, actually. So I'm sad that I brought it up. But he's the shortest, heaviest receiver, like maybe ever in the Combine, or at least the last whatever years. This guy's put together. And listen, it's not like this guy's chunky.
No, not at all.
Big chest, big arms. He's put together. He's like a running back. He really is. And it was funny that he played running back for so long. So to me, KG, this guy is just a football player, and you have to find a way to get him on the field.
100%. And I've never related more to an athlete on our show. When he said, I was a little heavy there. I'm like, yeah, look, we've all been there. You know,
we
it is what it is. And we don't have to be.
Stretchy pants are your friend, you know?
Right.
That's what I
like,
wear
we
all
don't
the time.
have to be examined by all these people.
Praise the Lord.
But I think that's kind of the point with X. And we're going to talk about this more after the interview of kind of what his comp could be. But
yeah.
With his size, I think he is very durable. And we also saw that, exclude the broken foot, which he came back from and was better than ever. We saw that as well. So I think that's going to be great for X. I asked him at the end what he's going to miss most about South Florida, unless he gets taken by the Dolphins, which you never know, because he's from South Florida and went to Miami. And he said all these things, and I was like, X, what about the food? He's like, oh, yeah, I thought that was a given. So I think if I ever was drafted, Mac, by a different podcast and had to move, I think what I would miss the most is Ingles. If I was taken out of this area where the Ingles footprint, I would be distraught. I couldn't get that homemade guacamole.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, Mac.
What a transition. That's why you get paid the big bucks by them specifically. So real quick, let's get from a message from them, from Ingles, and then we'll talk to our guy, Xavier Restrepo.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department, or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Xavier Restrepo, man, great to see you. Looks like you're on the prowl right now, man. You headed to the draft right now. It's great to see you, brother.
Yes, sir. Great to see you guys as well. Thank you for the opportunity. It's always good chopping it up with you guys.
No doubt, X. And you and I were chatting a little bit as you're driving around looking for a draft party spot. So Really hope you find that. But just
Thank you.
tell us, like, what has life? I mean, we've talked with some other guys. It feels like it is a whirlwind. The second college football ends, you're starting to get ready for the combine, you're getting ready for pro day, you're getting ready. Like, walk us through what it's been like these last couple months.
No doubt, it's definitely been a little bit more than busy, I would say. Just going from one event to another. I've had the blessing to be invited to the Combine and the Reese Senior Bowl. So just all those things 1 month apart. It's like Reese Senior Bowl end of January, Combine end of February, Pro Day end of March, or draft end of April. So it's like 1 month of everything, and then all there in between you still have to stay on your diet, still train super hard. So, I mean, it's been a process to say the least. But I mean, I would say I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I could, try to create the most relationships as I could.
It is the longest year of your life, brother. Just get ready because
Yeah.
you're only about halfway through it. And again, hopefully, your season as a rookie goes as long as it can, and that ends up being close to 30 weeks, which is just bizarre when you look at all of it and,
Right.
and what you've done. Speaking of what you've done, you're like the most decorated dude to ever walk out of Miami, and it's amazing, man, to see all the work, all the effort, all the days and the times and the workouts that people never know about that you put in to get to this moment. Just kind of give us a snapshot of your career, man, and what Miami means to you and how you were able to do what you did there.
No doubt. I mean, it's definitely meant a lot. So I think the thing that I think about the most is, me wanting to go there, me wanting to be, one of the best people to ever go through there, and then actually, talking it to fruition and then doing it. I think that it's been an unreal, surreal process. All the ups and downs that I had to go through behind closed doors. Um, talking about going back to 2022, where it's like, oh, finally, like I get to, be a starter. My role has changed. I feel like on top of the world, and then boom, I break my foot. And then it's like, dang, now I really have nothing when football's away. And then, just getting closer with God. For me, getting closer with God was like a huge step in my life, because I feel like He's honestly just literally carried me through this past year. I felt like this year as it went by so fast, and I mean, there's so much memorable moments that I can honestly cherish forever. Sharing with family, friends, and then creating new relationships as well. So I think just growing up in South Florida and then
Yeah.
putting on for your hometown is just like none other.
It's special. Not a lot of people get to do it. And you did it, X, that's for sure. And just speaking of Miami, to leave a place better than you found it, is always the goal. But the final season that you guys were able to have to get Miami back, back truly in the national discussion, what did that mean to you to be able to do that with the help of your teammates?
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, we've had an amazing team this year. We came up short 2 games, and it's just we just didn't have our days on those days. But I mean, just to see everybody on the team grow in 1 year and create relationships. For instance, like me and Cam and the other receivers, just like how do you get that much, bondage and that much, chemistry in just 8 months, 9 months. So it's like it's on again. It's on. I'm gonna keep using this word. It's honestly surreal. That we can continue to do that. That's what happened. So I think it's just again super surreal that everything moved by so fast. But I mean, a great group of guys. Wouldn't trade them for the world, and we created so many off the field memories as well as on the field.
You know what you just said there that really interests me is, it kind of almost prepares you for this rookie year. And you guys didn't have this massive overhaul in the portal, but you did have some really key guys come in specifically in your room, the quarterback room, and, obviously at running back as well. So you talk about that. How the heck did we do it in 8 months? You're about to go through something very similar with your first NFL team and maybe your only NFL team. What can you take, or what lessons can you take that really worked at Miami for you and your process going to the next level?
I think the main thing is just treating everything like a professional. Your recovery, your process, your preparation, the work. I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken from it. Everybody buying in, and just not having an ego. Because egotistical programs they don't usually work out the best. So I think everybody just bought in this past year. I think what I've learned the most is the preparation process, how important that is. Because it's almost like again, me and Cam used to watch film at 5 o'clock every single morning, and it's like when we get to the game, it's like we've played the game 7, 8 times before we even played it. So it's like honestly just watching replays at that point. And it's honestly just all on you. Like there's nothing that the defense could do or anything that could throw you off because you've seen it all. So I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from this year is just preparation process and honestly just treating everything like a pro.
Well, X, you mentioned Cam. We're going to have to talk about Cam a little bit here because, he may be the number one pick in this whole thing. So him coming to Miami really helped you, obviously. I mean, you were already great, but you two guys together was spectacular. You talk about watching film. How did your guys' relationship grow, and what do you expect from him at the next level?
No doubt, our relationship has grown so much. It's honestly like a roller coaster. And spring ball, again, we're both alpha males, so we want to be in charge of everything and we want to, be the reason why our team either loses or wins. And I think just understanding each other and just spending so much time around each other, obviously we've, grown to a much, stronger friendship and brotherhood. And I feel like just this past year, I mean, I've really grown a true brother in Cam Ward, and I could really depend on him for anything, and he could depend on me for anything.
That's special, man. Especially that wide receiver to quarterback connection. But then, as you mentioned, just being brothers and taking it to another level. It's a great thing to have. It truly is. And people don't understand it, right? If you haven't been in the locker room, you don't get it. You can't relate to it for any sport, but football in particularly. I want to dive into how you guys would watch film a little bit because you're both gone now. You're moving on, and it's something new. How would that help the both of you? Like, what things are you looking at from your perspective? Is he looking at from his perspective that helped you guys, have that instant chemistry immediately?
Right. So what's interesting is I think the reason why we watch film a lot together is so he knows what I'm thinking and I know what he's thinking at the same time. So I feel like that's why our chemistry was so strong. Is because when I'm lining up, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where he's going with the ball. It's too high shell. He has to read this side first. Linebackers are rotating, so that means this area is being voided. So and then he's also thinking like, oh, it's too high. He's gonna press the safety and then cut across. You know what I'm saying? So like, just watching film together and just really breaking everything down together is very important because I mean he even brought that up. He said, yeah, watching film is cool and whatever, but if you're not watching film together, there's really no point. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a very important thing to do is watch film together with your quarterback, and I think that's why we were so successful last year.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a really unique perspective. And X, we've had you on the podcast a bunch. We know how good you are in an interview setting. When you were at the combine, how did that go in terms of meeting with teams and kind of being able to talk to them, show who you are, show your football knowledge? How was that experience?
No doubt. I mean, whenever I could talk about football, it's just awesome. Some of the interviews that you get into your personal life and stuff like that. I mean, I've had a pretty cool story, so I was able to share that. But I'm pretty sure for most of the guys, you hear the same question over and over and over again 1,000 times, and it could get boring. But whenever we talked about football, it was just amazing. Just going through like literally mini installs and then getting tested on it. I just find that so awesome, because it really shows how worthy you are and how well you could pick up an entire playbook and, how well your football IQ is as well. So, and again, that's something that I strive myself on. So I was excited to show the NFL coaches that I can do that because, I mean, NFL stands for not for long, obviously, and that means for coaches as well, so to be able to grasp a new playbook and be super adaptive, which I feel like another one of my strong suits is just very important to them.
Yeah, no, there's no question. I think guys like yourself that can just thrive in that setting, it just makes you more attractive, right? Because they see it on film, they see the tape, they're like, okay, this guy's a baller. Then they hear you break it down and you're expressing things and talking probably like a quarterback at the end of the day, and they're just blown away saying, wow, this guy is. He's something different. I think they also were blown away with your measurables, man. I saw a bunch of people tweeting the height and the weight thing. They're like, this guy's compact. He is a beast. He's basically a running back out there. Did anybody ask you about the multi positions? Because I know you played DB, in high school, but were people as fascinated there as they were on social media?
But I was definitely weighing a little bit heavy there. But I mean,
You
again,
got
I
to stop
played running
doing
back.
curls, X. You got to slow down on the
X,
curls. The biceps
look,
are too big.
we've all been there, okay? We've all been there.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I've played running back my whole entire life, all the way up until 11th grade. So, um, I could see where they said the running back build, but again, nobody really talked about, anything. I just told them that I'm a playmaker, whether that means on offense, defense, special teams, with the ball in my hand or without the ball in my hand. I could contribute each and every single way. So, again, I let teams know that, and I'm very passionate about that as well.
Yeah. Another thing, we're talking about social media and just people, things start getting rolling and everyone else jumps on board. I've seen more often than not teams talking, or excuse me, accounts talking about how you're the biggest sleeper in this draft. Now, I don't know how a guy that leads a place like Miami in every single category is a sleeper, but hey, we'll take whatever we can from a title perspective. What do you think you bring to an NFL team? Whoever drafts you, what are they getting from Xavier Restrepo?
No doubt. And again, best. I don't really like talking about myself, but I think I better start talking about myself a little bit because, I mean, again, if anybody else in the country had, the quote unquote stats and the quote unquote season that we've had as a team and me as a player, they would be going, undoubtedly in the first round, So I think measurables also has a lot to do with that, but it's fine. I strive myself off opportunity. If I get an opportunity, it'll be the best opportunity you've ever given in your entire life. So again, people are gonna, say um, sleeper and all this stuff. All I'm worried about is opportunity. If I get an opportunity, I know that I'll have a long career in the NFL. Just because, again, I'm God fearing, I'm super confident in myself, and I've put in the work. There's nobody that works harder than me, and then there's nobody that takes this process as serious as me.
Sold. I'm sold, X. That works for me. Okay, let me go with a fun question here because it's so odd as an NFL prospect. Like you have no choice where you go. You could end up in Green Bay and you're from South Florida. So we know you're from South Florida, been there your whole life. Besides your family, what if, let's say you don't end up with the Dolphins, which maybe you will, but let's say you don't, what will you miss most about South Florida?
Man, do I have to keep it short? But
We got all the time in the day, baby.
I mean, what is there not to miss about South Florida? The weather. You could play golf year round. No, but seriously, I mean, just the people down here. I mean, I've known nothing other than South Florida. So I'm excited though to go somewhere and start a new life and start just my next journey. But I mean, again, South Florida, it'll always have a special place in my heart. And I'm planning on being down here at least once every single year.
Yeah, you can stay, locked in down there in the off season. I thought you were going to say food, X. What about the food?
Oh, I mean, don't even get me started on that. I mean, the reason why I didn't say food is because I've been on a diet this past like 2 months, so
Oh no.
I haven't even been able to enjoy the food. Hopefully after pro day I could, have a couple cheat meals or whatever. But
Yeah.
just thugging it out right now, I guess.
I love that, man. It'll all pay off. It'll all pay off. Last
For
one
sure,
for me,
yes,
man, and we're so grateful for your time. This has been fantastic. How has Miami prepared you for this moment? We hear about Green Tree. We have been to the facilities and see the work that you put in the weight room. And obviously everyone knows about Mario Cristobal and the level of attention to detail that he demands. But also I know what you put in before all of that was really there. How has Miami prepared you for this moment?
That's a really great question. And I would definitely say just the competitive nature. I mean, you are competing with dudes each and every single day. There's not one day that you go by without competing. And if you do go with a day without competing, it's probably not a good thing, you know? So, um, I mean, I would definitely say the competitive nature at the University of Miami is, the best because you're not only competing with yourself, you're not only competing with your teammates, but you're competing with greats as well, and I've been fortunate enough to be put in a position where I was able to compete for records and stuff like that. And you got those dudes that hold the records right there in your ear telling you how you're the greatest and how that you're the one and you could play with us back then. And it's just so awesome. I think definitely the competitive nature and then just the history behind Miami.
I love that, man. Golly. X, you're the best, brother. Thank you for your time. It's great seeing you. I hope venue shopping goes well.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
No doubt.
Thanks again to our guy X. Mac, we really hope he finds that venue that he needs for his party. Yeah. Before you came on, X and I were on early and we were just talking for a couple minutes and he's like, I have a lot of family down here.
Yeah.
So I need a massive venue. So
have to.
It almost feels like he's like wedding venue shopping for this.
This is
massive...
good prep. This is good prep for him.
Yeah, exactly. In the future for this draft party. But Mac, let's talk about him just as a prospect. I've seen a lot of, when you look at these websites that kind of compile all the mocks, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of third round. I've seen a lot of still going in the top 100, like in the 90s, that area, which I think would be great for him. And I think a lot of times when you are in that realm, you can go to a good team, which is really exciting. So that's would be awesome for X. But what's interesting, I'm looking on NFL.com and they have all their analysts talking about strengths, weaknesses, and then they give a comp, right? And the comp stood out to me because the comp they gave was Hunter Renfrow. Now, of course, Mac and I, as Clemson graduates, are very familiar with Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is a former teammate of Eric McLean's. So we love that comp because Renfrow was one of the great college receivers. And he's had a really good career in the NFL. He was very productive. Mm-hmm. But the durability was a factor. And that's what he's dealing with right now. But we talked about X's size. I mean, how many pounds would X have on Renfrow? Like, I think that if you can have the production that Renfrow had in his really good years, but be more durable. That seems like an interesting combination to me.
100%. And you know, the great thing about Hunter is he was pretty good at avoiding hits. Like if you're going to be a smaller guy, you have to not take those collisions. And obviously maybe that caught up, maybe it didn't, whatever. But, you know, I think Xavier's very well put together. And he can take some of those hits, but also has the elusiveness as a route runner, the quickness as a route runner to be able to get in space, to find the right space. And, you know, to me, really, what was probably the most telling, because obviously we've watched this guy forever. Like we know, you know, what he does and everything of that nature. But the most telling thing that maybe we've touched on before, maybe not, but when he's watching film with Cam, and I kind of said, why? Like, what can you yearn from that? And he said, so I can know how he sees it, and he can know how I see it. And that's the defense, that's the situation, that's the yardage, that's what we need. And just to be able to have, that's how that same page, being able to read each other's mind works. And you saw the you know, positive things from that, where, you know, those guys played, like he said, for 8 months together, looked like they've been playing for 8 years together. They were just there. It was brothers type of thing. And, you know, I think that goes to show the work ethic. That goes to show what he will do to be great. And a lot of guys won't do that. A lot of guys, you know, especially you make this level, okay, it is what it is. Here we go. He's willing to do more. And I love that about him. I think he has big playability. I've seen some people knock, maybe doesn't have the top end speed. It's great if you have the top end speed, but you can't catch the football. Like I've seen plenty of guys that we get so excited. They're running a 4.3, they're running a 4.2, but it's a lot of drops and it's a lot of what ifs, this and that. This guy is a magnet to the football, has a great catch radius too for his size, and just the vision, the concentration. I mean, I think back to that play where it's 3rd and something. He literally falls on the ground or gets pushed on the ground and still catches the ball and converts. Like, that's just the type of guy he is. So he's a big play magnet. He's going to make it happen. He's going to fight for your team. And he's just a hard-nosed football player, KG. And that's my favorite part about X.
100%. Yeah, I think there are very few guys that will be as committed as him. And I think the football IQ is very prevalent with X for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where he ends up. Truly one of the good guys. Like, every time we've asked him to come on, he says, sure, no problem. I got you. And then he gives a great interview. So we appreciate him because it's, it's hard. I know these student athletes are so dang busy. I mean, he's watching film with Cam Ward at 5 a.m. He's got other things to do. So
do you think that's cap, by the way? Do you think he's little exaggeration, or do you think they're walking in there,
Mac,
4:59 watching tape?
You remember the student athlete life? Like, you don't have time.
Yeah, I don't know. 5 a.m. though. I'm getting up watching film.
5
maybe
a.m.
I did. Maybe I'm downplaying it.
Maybe you just forgot because it was literally all a blur.
Or maybe that's why I didn't play in the NFL. Who knows?
Maybe they Zoom each other and watch. Because we didn't have Zoom
from
Mac.
the crib. Yeah.
We didn't have our own iPads and all that stuff
that's
that
true.
they have
that's
now.
True. Yeah, different.
We had to
world.
go
back in our day, KG.
We had to have the
film
coach
was in
fire
black
up
and
the
white
projector.
Just kidding,
we're
guys.
not that old. We're not that old.
We're not that old. Anyway.
But excited for X-Mac. I can't wait to see what happens, where he goes. And just for him, as he was talking about how much of a South Florida guy he is, I hope he ends up somewhere
with
somewhat
the Patriots.
warm.
Hope he goes to the Patriots.
Somewhere
Figure it out. Figure it out.
Or
Have
an
fun.
indoor stadium.
That's right. Actually, Drake May. That'd be great. Him
That'd
and
be
Drake
really
May.
cool.
That'd be fantastic. So anyway, we'll see. Guys, appreciate you always. Appreciate X for making time for us. Just truly, as KG said, one of the best to ever do it. And we are grateful for him. Grateful for you guys. So if you could, if you're already here, great. Subscribe. It's right there. Turn your notifications on too, guys. We're going to post these early so you can see. You can get excited.
5 a.m. Watch some film.
That's right. 5 a.m. Watch our film. Watch right here. Critique us. Drop down what we need to do better in the comments. But no, tell us about X too. Where do you think he's going to go? Any mocks that you might do or might see? Because this guy's going to be an instant star. He's going to be a playmaker right away. So appreciate you always. Until next time, we'll see y'all.